Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I'm disrupting my normal weekly schedule to upload for you guys today, but today's it's a very special day in my life. I'm 10 years old today. So, 10 years ago today, I decided that I was going to end my own life. What I'd like to do is I'd like to tell you the story, and then at the end of the video I'd like to give you 5 tips for ways that you can deal with depression and anxiety. So, I decided that I was going to end it. I had been the victim of bullying, which I've been the victim of most of my life. I spent a long time hating myself. And so things had gotten really hard for me at school. I had a group of people who were targeting me pretty constantly. And because of that, I felt like it was time, there was nothing left, that I was worthless. So what I decided to do was I was going to go home and I was going to take my own life. So I was 13 at the time and in middle school, and I had no idea what was in store for me in life, but what I knew is that I wanted to cut it short. I couldn't see a way out, and it was over to me. Someone took the time to realize what was going on. And if you see this video, I hope you know that when you took the note and you read it, that you saved my life. I didn't know what I know now, and it took me a long time to recover from that. Years. It's not something that ends quickly. So depression is something I've struggled with for a very long time. So every day I get up and I feel like there are weights on me. I feel like I could just stay in bed and I could hide, but instead I choose to get up. Life's gonna go if I don't, and I don't want to miss out on that. Today is 10 years of choosing to get out of bed. What I want you to know in this video is that no matter how bad it gets, no matter how hard it is, I promise you one thing, that you are loved. Don't worry, it'll be okay. I promise you'll get through it. Just remember every day that you wake up and you take in another breath, that you're still alive. Here are 5 tips and things that I do to deal with depression. And I want you guys to know I'm not licensed, I'm not a psychologist, I have no background in that. I'm not a professional. These are just ways that I personally deal with depression because I've spent a long time struggling with it. So, technique number 1 for me is to have multiple coping mechanisms. I know that there are people who don't understand that don't understand what's wrong, and they think that just doing something you love is going to automatically fix it. Sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you've got to have a backup on a backup on a backup of things that you can do to remind yourself that you love yourself. The first thing that I always turn to is makeup, which, as you guys know, you're here. You're on a beauty channel for a reason. Every day I wake up and I paint my face on, and I know that whether I wear makeup or I don't, that I'm beautiful, that I love myself, and that I'm alive for another day. Technique number 2 for me is not to sit in silence. Sitting in silence for me it's pretty hard. I'm right on the middle of the line between being an extrovert and an introvert. And because of that, sometimes for me, it's soothing just to hear human voices. I download podcasts a lot. I watch TV sometimes. I put on a movie. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to it. I just need to hear human voices around me because it may be too much for me to talk to someone, but it's not too much just to hear other human voices. Technique number 3 for me is to find something that grounds me. For me, sometimes I deal with this feeling that I'm not real, that I don't really exist. And that's when it's really bad. So I need to find something that grounds me, that reminds me that I exist in the reality. And what I do, and this is just my way of grounding myself, is I put on lotion. So I'll get hand lotion, something like that. I'll rub it on my arms or my legs. So that's another way that I deal with it. Technique number 4 is to talk to someone. And this is probably the most important one. Whether it be a professional, whether it's a friend, whether it's a stranger, you need to remember that acknowledging the problem is the first way that you can deal with it. And the last and final thing that I can recommend is to do an act of self-care. I know on those days when it seems really hard to get out of bed, I don't care about anything, including myself. And so sometimes it's as simple as taking a shower, making myself a meal, making myself a cup of coffee, or even just burning a candle, because the scent of the candle soothes me. That reminds me that I care about myself. It reminds me that I can do this and that I can get out of bed. It reminds me that I can do this. And that's something that I want to remind you guys. You can do this. You can deal with it. You can live through it. I promise you. It's worth it. 10 years ago, I didn't think it was worth it. But I have 10 years of family, friends, and people who love me. And if it weren't for those people, I don't know what I'd have done. But had I taken my life then, I'd have never known them. So, what I want to remind you is you only get one you. I spent a very long time hating myself and telling myself that I wasn't worth it. But I am. I want you to know that you're worth it too. I promise. Even if it's just getting out of bed, it's gonna be worth it. You only get one you. The one thing that will remain constant in your life is gonna be you. So if nothing else, remember to love yourself. And remember, there are people who love you. You will survive it, I promise. So, thank you for taking a couple minutes of your day to see what I had to say. Thank you for celebrating with me my 10-year birthday. 10 years I didn't think I had.